So this morning I'm bringing you some next level realness here in my robe. Unfortunately, I have been throwing up all morning. No, I'm not pregnant. I have food poisoning. I went to an event last night and I should have known better, but I guess I thought I was invincible because in the 5 years that I've been vegan, I've never gotten food poisoning. But the table there had like meat and cheese and then veggies, and I thought I could eat the veggies, but I'm sure somebody was like mixing the tongs or something, and now I'm violently ill. But I told you guys I was gonna make a video every day this week, so I'm going to deliver, and this one I think is really important, so let's get into it. So like I was saying in my last video, basically my perfectionist disorder times constant comparison with social media times living in LA times being in my moderately superficial industry just led me down a really dark path of self-rejection. And I'm sure if you've been watching me for a while you already know this, but I have a very unhealthy relationship with my image. And it's honestly so extreme that these days, like it's progressed so much that these days I truly can't look in the mirror at myself. I really try to avoid mirrors. And the worst is photos. If somebody next to me tries to take my photo, or even like literally I can sense they're like opening the camera app, I start to panic so badly. It's the craziest thing. I mean, I've always hated photos. I've never been somebody who enjoys being in front of the camera. I don't actually mind video that much, which is really weird, but for some reason photos, I feel like they're capturing that millisecond of a moment, and if you don't look flattering, it's just upsetting. I don't know. I know that I'm extreme and that I have a problem, but I'm just trying to convey my thoughts to you guys on how I feel. But literally, if somebody even like lifts their phone up to get ready to take a photo, I will like duck. Like that's where I'm at right now. The one exception is if I meet one of you guys and you ask for a photo, I will always say yes. So now that you know how deathly afraid I am of photos, those should mean a lot to you because everything in me is like, no. But I know I have to do it. I can't let you guys down. So I always do them. But the reason I think I'm so afraid of photos is that every single time I look at one, I feel an instant just like depression. Like all I see are flaws, all I see are things I want to change about myself, and I really don't want to get any more work done. So I'm very much trying to stop looking at the photos or taking the photos in general. But I think a lot of you guys would be surprised to know that I actually heavily considered getting cosmetic surgery even way back in 2013. Like everybody thought I was really innocent back then, but little did they know that I was getting consultations for procedures, and I had the desire because I was still, you know, somewhat depressed about my image from comparison and the media and all of that, and being behind the camera for a living. So I did want to make some changes, but ultimately I always backed out because I felt like frustrated. Like, no, why is comparison in the media making me feel less than? Like, I don't want to give into this. I don't want to send this a message to my followers. Like, I want to resist this. And like, I pushed back hard on that. Like, I made a video about accepting yourself, and like, it was borderline anti-cosmetic surgery, which in hindsight now, I'm not really anti, but we'll get to that in a minute. But the point is, I was very strong opinions, open about anti-cosmetic surgery, and then look at me now, what a fucking hypocrite, you know? It's just like, at my core, I don't think I wanted to make any of those changes, but I was feeling so much pressure. And like, I had the money, you know, for a lot of people, I think maybe they would get these procedures if they had the money. And like having the money, being behind the camera, feeling the pressure, just being in modern day life with this like social media in your face, you know, I just felt like I needed to do it. And like, I think I just hated that so many women were going under the knife, and essentially they were kind of raising the bar of what beauty looks like or should be or whatever you want to say. I know now, I view beauty now in a much different way, but when I was younger, I was definitely seeing that as more beautiful than natural. And I don't know, I just felt like those women were really going against nature and raising the bar at a very unnatural level of beauty that so many people can't attain, and it just didn't feel fair. I felt like, well, I want to look like that too. I want to feel better. I want to feel as good about myself as I possibly can too. So should I just do these things? Of course, I believe that women should be able to do whatever they want with their own bodies. You know, it's your choice. If something's going to make you more confident, more happy, whatever, you should do it. But I think it's really important to maybe talk to some people who have gotten that procedure done before and kind of get some insight on, do they regret it? What would they have done differently? I just think it's something that needs to really, really be considered and researched before you do it. So with me, you know, yeah, I wanted to do it, but I also didn't want to do it. And I really thought that I was never going to do it. So what changed in me? Like, what changed my perspective that made me go down this dark hole of getting a lot of work done? Well, essentially in 2015, I had an insane cystic acne breakout. Like, huge marble-sized cysts just everywhere, like 10 at a time on my face. And I just felt, as somebody with a perfectionist disorder, I just fucking lost it. And I know some of you guys were following me during this time, and I wasn't posting much because I was literally suicidal. Every time I say that, people are like, wow, suicidal over acne. But yes, when you have OCPD and you feel that distraught with your appearance, like, I couldn't function. I was in a constant state of panic, and I just felt so fucking worthless and gross. And like, even though logically I knew I was being so stupid feeling that way and that it wasn't that big of a deal. And I even had a boyfriend at the time who was so kind and supportive and always told me I was beautiful, and like, that was amazing. But I still couldn't get over the fact that I was just panicked and depressed and upset and hated myself. So the crazy thing is about that is, even after the acne cleared up, I still felt really, really depressed. And during that time, I had situational depression. But then from going on a medication, I really think I had clinical depression as well. And I think that's part of why I still felt depressed even after it cleared up. I think that depression lingered in me for a really long time. And it just flipped a switch. Suddenly I became desperate, like literally so desperate to shut up the voices in my head that kept saying I was ugly and worthless and whatever, you know. Even though I didn't want to have procedures or surgeries or whatever, I also just wanted that voice to shut the fuck up and let me feel at peace with my life. So yes, I ended up, it started with one small tweak and then it just kept going from there. So basically in this video, I'm gonna go over every single thing that I've had done to me cosmetically and provide my thoughts on pros and cons, why I did it. I just think it's something that needs to be put out there. It is very, 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 very scary to make a video like this, because this is a video that people will hold against me for the rest of my life. And this is why so many women avoid talking about cosmetic surgery, is because other women are so mean. And I get it. Believe me, because I did it too. I get it. I understand being a hater against cosmetic surgery because it makes you feel a little bit insecure as well. And you don't want to have to do those things to get to that woman's level, you know? So I understand. But I'm just trying to say, this video is really scary for me to make because I know for the rest of my life, if I take a photo and I feel good about it, which would be a miracle, if I feel good about a photo and I post it of myself, I'm gonna see tons of comments saying things like, oh, well, she's only beautiful because she's gotten a lot of work done. And I guess that's partially true, so maybe I shouldn't be hurt by that, but it's just not something I really would like to see on a daily basis. I don't think when people leave those comments, I don't think they understand. Like, they just think, oh, it's just like one hater comment, whatever. But no, it's actually like hundreds daily that pile up, that literally just like, you know, shit all over who I am as a person. And it is hard, even though I've been dealing with it for 9 years now. It's still, I have my days where I get very, very, very sad from those comments. But anyway, okay, let's get into it. I'm gonna share it all. I'm literally not gonna leave out any tiny thing. So here we go. So the very first thing that I ever got done was my lips. I think that's kind of the gateway drug for everyone. Because lips, especially in LA, like everyone has it. So it's a very casual procedure at this point. Like, people literally can, there's services where people can literally come to your work or come to wherever you are and give you filler and Botox. Like, that's how crazy LA has gotten. Like, there might even be an app for that. I don't know, but it's gotten out of control. Anyway, I went and I got pretty natural lip filler, like a half of a syringe, most of it in my bottom lip, just to kind of create a nice shape, and a tiny, tiny, tiny bit in my top lip. I really, really, really wanted them to look natural, and I feel like compared to a lot of people's, they do, but I don't know. In general, I would say I do like them. I probably won't get them ever again, but I do like them, especially because I have very dry, wrinkly skin on my lips, and just plumping them up a little bit smoothed that out and kind of made me look a little bit more youthful. But I don't know, there's some downsides to it too, because it makes the inside of your lip feel like lumpy and hard, and it's just it's a little weird to me. But in general, I would say that's probably my favorite thing out of all the things that I've gotten done to myself. So take that for what you will. And it's reversible. That's the good thing. You can either get it dissolved, or you can wait like, 1 to 2 years for it to dissolve by itself. So that's really not too crazy of a procedure. The second thing I got done was my nose, which was something that I had wanted to do forever. I had a hump on the side, and my nose from the front was just like a very abnormal shape. It was like a big triangle, and I hardly ever see people with noses like that. So I just felt like a freak, honestly. I just felt like something was really wrong with me, and I felt like when people looked at me, all they saw was my nose, and it really bothered me. So I contemplated doing that surgery for 2 years before I actually went through with it, and I was happy with the results, but I wasn't thrilled with the results. But also, being a perfectionist, I knew, like, when I went into that surgery, I was like, listen, I was like giving myself a pep talk. I was like, listen, you're not gonna love this, but it's going to be an improvement, and that's all that matters. And I kept saying that phrase to myself over and over and over again, because I'm a crazy bitch, guys, and I have to talk myself off the ledge a lot with things. And I remember the moment I peeled the cast off, because it had gotten so soggy that I ended up doing it myself at home, like a few hours before my doctor's appointment, nothing like too premature. And I remember thinking, whoa, for the first time, my nose looks like slightly camouflaged into my face, and you notice my eyes more and my lips more, and I felt happy about that. But then I realized that the bump was still slightly there, which, yeah, not a huge deal, whatever. But when you pay 10 grand and you go through 2 weeks of recovery and off work, no money, it's a little disappointing to see that what you paid to get removed is still there. So I was very upset by that. But in general, I did still feel like it was an improvement, and I was happy with that surgery. However, I did get a second nose job because the doctor offered to correct the bump for free. And I was like, you know what? This is something that I'm feeling triggered by on an almost daily basis. If he can easily go in there and, like, he was going to do it without cutting the skin and flipping it open. He was going to go in with like a chisel through my nostril and just shave it. And I was like, okay, that doesn't sound that crazy. So, like, let's just do that. And so I did. And that was, I feel, a big mistake. I think I should have just left it alone. Because yeah, now my profile is great. You know, like there's no bump. It's like perfect from the side. But from the front, my nose is like slanted. Like this veers this way slightly. And that drives me way more crazy than the bump ever did. So this is what happens when you get work done. It's always a risk. You never know if it's gonna like bring up a new problem. And that is something that the doctors don't tell you because they want your money. They don't want you to be second guessing things. And yeah, I don't know. It's not a huge deal, but it does bother me, obviously, as a perfectionist. But I do not regret my first nose job. I think it was something that I really had to do. As much as I didn't want to do it, it did change my life for the better and made me feel a lot more confident. I know maybe that's not a good message to send. I'm sorry, but I just have to be honest. You guys know how important it is to me to be honest. So yes, lips were okay, nose job was okay, second nose job was a mistake. The third thing that I got done has been a very hot topic on this channel, and I have not addressed it, but I feel that it's pretty obvious, and it's that I got my boobs done. I did that in a very impulsive moment. I had just broken up with my boyfriend. I felt like, you know what, I just need this like confidence booster. I want to do something crazy. I feel like most people would like in that situation maybe jump out of an airplane or get a tattoo, but I was like, I'm gonna get boobs. Like I have wanted boobs my entire life, and I just felt like mine were so small. And real talk, I felt like my this is very TMI, but it's whatever. I felt like my boob to nipple size ratio was just very off, and I felt like if I got the implants that they would look more balanced. And yeah, so I got them. There are definitely pros and cons. The pros are they look phenomenal in clothing, like unreal. My doctor did an amazing job. They're really like the perfect boob job in my opinion. But naked, they don't look as good. I mean, they look pretty freaking natural. If I could show you guys them naked, I would. I really would, but we can't do that. But just for science, the purpose of, you know, understanding what I'm trying to say. But they do look really good. I'm not gonna lie, they look very good. The process was fine, the healing was fine, it wasn't anything crazy. But it is a little weird to have two hard things in your chest, you know? Like I like sleeping on my stomach, and now I have to like position my pillows a certain way so I'm not putting too much pressure on my boobs, and that is a little weird. But I don't know. I can't decide if I love them or I hate them or I regret it. I think I do love them, and I mildly regret it. I don't know if I would go back. If I could, I think I would still keep them, honestly. And you know, I never wanted to talk about it, which was kind of unlike me because I usually talk about everything and tell you guys everything. But I didn't want to talk about this because my boyfriend's family watches my videos, and I didn't tell them that I was getting it done. And every time I would see them, I'd be in like a covered up top so they couldn't tell. And I just felt really uncomfortable with them knowing that I did that, so I didn't want to talk about it. But now it's just like, whatever. The cat's out of the bag. I'm just gonna share everything, so whatever. The next thing I got done was probably the strangest thing that I did. I was just in such a weird, dark place. I was just so desperate to change any and everything about myself I could, and this was just like, I can't believe I did this, but I have a very, very small chin implant right here. And it really didn't make hardly any difference. I had a very, very weak jawline. I wish I could find my before and after photos from the doctor. But I had a very weak jawline that I have a lot of excess skin which I know you guys are rolling your eyes right now, but I really do have a lot of excess skin here for my age, and I always have, and I've always had a very kind of like baby face unless I get really, really thin. Like right now I'm probably about 101 pounds, and I feel like my face just carries a little bit more fat. It's not a huge deal, but for whatever reason, it really bothered me. And originally I went in just to see if I could get lipo under here to like snatch this back a little bit, you know? And he was like, yeah, we could do that, but it's not going to change the fact that this skin is like hanging right here. So I put in a very tiny, it's like a little silicone, like, I don't even know how to explain it, like a little, it just goes right here. And I feel like it made a little tiny change, but not like, I feel like it looks a little bit, you know, more to a point than it did before, maybe. A little bit more filled out right here. And I feel like it balances my forehead size too with not having such a short chin. But I remember being in that appointment and I was just like, when he suggested a chin implant, I was like, no, ew, that's so weird and gross. Like, what? I just couldn't believe it. But then by the end of it, he had shown me a bunch of photos of before and after and just talked me into it somehow. I'm very easily talked into things in those situations because I just feel like I can't say no. Like I'm like the worst person. If like somebody asked me to buy something, like I can't say no. I just feel pressured and I don't know, I always cave. But anyway, so I actually got 3 things done at the same time that I got this put in. So I got this put in, I got a little bit of lipo under here, and then some of you, most of you, I actually think aren't even gonna know that this is a thing. I got fat removed from the inside of my mouth. So I felt like I had a really full, chubby, like little face here. So they made an incision in my mouth and they pull this fat right here out. It's called buccal fat removal. I'm not sure how you pronounce it, but I don't recommend that. That literally, like, I can't even tell the difference. They said that it was supposed to like make a sharper natural contour basically right here. And like maybe a little bit. I have really quite good cheekbones to begin with, but I don't really feel it made a difference. If anything, I think it has a slight, like you can see where it used to be, like an indentation kind of. I don't know if you guys can see it in this lighting, but I don't recommend that. That was a huge regret. I don't know why I was so desperate to get this like more sleek, snatched looking face instead of my more baby style face. And I don't know, that was just too much. So chin, again, I'm kind of just like, like I don't regret it. I don't love it. It's just whatever, a waste of money essentially. And the lipo, I don't feel like did anything. And the fat removal was just weird. Now the last thing I did, I actually documented the process for you guys, which was getting my veneers. I was so scared about getting these veneers that I put it off for a year. I was like, I literally had a black spot between my front teeth for a year, and it was very light. You couldn't really notice it, but some of you actually did notice it, which truly lit a fire under my ass to get it done. I really wasn't gonna get it done, and then I was like, okay, people are starting to notice this now, so I need to like, this is embarrassing, like having like a rotten tooth. So I went to the dentist and they said to me that they could try to get rid of the cavity and just fill it in, but that you would literally see through the tooth where the hole was, you know, drilled from the cavity, and the whatever they use to fill cavities these days, I have no idea, honestly, that you would see that spot through the tooth still. So they highly recommended that I got veneers on just these front 2 teeth. Now, if you look at a photo of my old teeth, you will see that my teeth are very, not very, but quite skinny. And I felt like if they put those veneers on just my front teeth, they were gonna look crazy next to my other teeth. So I got really scared and I just said, fuck it, let's just do like the entire top row and make sure that they all look cohesive. I was just really scared and I wanted them to all look the same. I didn't get this as a cosmetic thing. I really didn't. If that was the case, I think I would have gotten my bottom teeth too, which I didn't, which is why my teeth don't match at all. This truly was something I felt I had to do. And in hindsight, I do wish I maybe would have begged for them to make it as natural looking as possible, because I didn't really like give him many notes on how I wanted it to look. So he just made it look the perfect way. But I do wish it looked a little bit more natural, and I don't know. I'm not crazy happy with it. I think it looks good in photos and stuff, but in real life, I feel like it's given me this overbite that makes my face just look a little weird, almost like I have like a duck bill right here, you know? Like I'm just like, it's projecting my lip out, and it's just making me talk a little funny, and but what's done is done with that. I can't reverse it. So in 10 years, I can get them taken out and redone, and then maybe then I'll be happy with it. But for now, I'm just kind of like, I don't know. I don't hate them by any means. And I did what I felt I had to do. So I can't beat myself up too much. But yeah, at first when I got them done and you guys were all letting me know how bad you thought they looked, I was just crushed. Like I was crying. Like I was so upset. And I felt like when I was filming videos, I had like a speech problem. And so I kept going back in and having him shave them down more and more and more and more. Like, can you make them look more natural? Can you make them smaller? I literally went in and did that 3 times. And now he says that I can't shave them down any more than they are right now. And my speech definitely has improved, and I think they look a lot better. But it's still just, I don't know, I feel like I have like a mouth guard in my mouth, you know, like the Invisalign. I feel like I have that on my teeth right now, and I'm just like, it's just making me look and feel a little bit off. But like I said, what's done is done. Can't reverse it, so I just have to deal. So that's everything, which I know it is quite a lot. I lost it, guys. I just really lost my way, and I just wanted to love myself so badly that I just kept doing these things. And you know, the weird thing is when you do a procedure like this, at first it just feels like it's almost like a high. There's like adrenaline because you're excited that you're like making a change, and then there's like the anticipation of the reveal, and it's a very addictive process. And I think that's why people just get way too into it. And then, you know, some things like my nose, I did instantly feel better about myself, and it did boost my confidence. So then you kind of get addicted to that feeling of like potentially increasing your love for yourself. I know it's really fucked up and weird, because you would think it would be the opposite, but for whatever reason, it did kind of make me feel that way. But in hindsight, do I recommend cosmetic work? I truly only recommend cosmetic surgery if it is something that is very, 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 very bothersome to you, like how I felt about my nose. Little things like boobs and chin implant, fat removal, that is just like, if you feel you need to do it, then you need to do it, but I'm begging you to really think about it before you do it, because it's just, to me, it's just too far, and I wish I hadn't gone that far, but what's done is done. I don't know. I hope this video is not promoting plastic surgery. I feel like it kind of is in a way, and that makes me hesitant to post this, but like I said, this week is all about me sharing my truth and being honest, sharing my experiences, talking about the things that I have kind of withheld from you guys, because I just want you to know how important it is for me to speak my truth and to always be honest, and this is the product of that. So take it for what you will. I don't know. I just wanted to share so people quit asking me in the comments if I got my boobs done and stuff, you know? It's all out there now. So don't ask me anything else. I am no longer getting any more work done. So nothing else is changing from this point on, I promise. Although I have considered getting a fat transfer to my ass. That is like, everyone's doing that right now, but no, I'm not gonna do that. I'm not gonna do that. Although there was a one time that I went to this GQ Halloween party, and I saw this girl with the most perfect ass I've ever seen in my entire life. And it was so great. And I know it was fake just because it was like a perfect little bubble. It was like, I don't want to I don't want to go into great detail about this girl's ass, but there's no way. Like, she was deathly skinny with this like huge bubble butt and like skinny little legs. So there was just no way that was from working out. But I almost walked up to her and I was like, who is your doctor? Because girl, that is flawless. Like, I've been staring at you for like 10 minutes. What is wrong with me? But no, I don't see myself actually pulling the trigger on that. It's too scary because I feel like it can give you kind of like cellulite from how they inject the fat. So, I don't know. Not for me. I really need to, need to stop. I've done enough, okay? All right, but that's it for this video. I hope you guys found this fascinating, entertaining. If you hate me now, go ahead. I don't know. Please don't use these things against me. Kind of like, you know, when you confide in a parent and you hope that they don't punish you because you're being honest, and you hope they appreciate your honesty instead of, you know, punishing you for being honest. This is the kind of situation that I'm hoping this is. I hope you guys can appreciate that I'm being so open and honest with you and not throw it back in my face, please. Okay, I'm still just rambling way too much. So I'm gonna go. I'm probably about to get sick again. So it's a miracle that I've made it this long in this video without going to throw up. So I'm gonna go. I will see you guys tomorrow.